Welcome to the Nitpicking Nerds, and it's a new set, so you know what that means.
It's the top 10 cards from Modern Horizons 2.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. If you're enjoying our hashtag daily content, go head over to our Patreon, and you can support the channel directly. Also, another way to support the channel, go buy cards you were going to buy anyway using the link in the description. It takes you to TCG Player. They're our buddies, so when you buy cards through the link, we get help with our channel, and you don't spend any extra money.
Yes. So, what we're doing today is we're taking Modern Horizons 2. We're looking at the whole set, and we're picking the top 10 cards, our favorite cards from the whole thing.
For Commander.
And yeah, this is the strongest list, so it's not just, like, obvious. If I'm doing favorite, Dermataxi would be up here, but unfortunately, Dermataxi, not very strong in Commander, as cool as it is.
We're doing power. Let's just get right into number 10.
Yes. Number 10 is Garth, One-Eyed. He's Woolberg for a 5/5. It's a legendary creature, human wizard. Tap. Choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from among Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus. Create a copy of the card with the chosen name. You may cast the copy. Okay, so this card doesn't fit in many decks, but it goes infinite so easily because of the last little thing it makes, the Black Lotus.
Yeah, once you flicker it, it's a new identity. It's a new object. It's a new object, and it doesn't see the previous identity of it, so it can just make Black Lotuses every time. You just have to give it haste and flicker it. That's pretty strong. It's going to be its own commander, and it's really good, but it doesn't go literally anywhere.
Yeah, it's going to go in, if you're playing a 5-color commander deck, that there might be some places where this goes in, but there's just not that many. 5-color commanders usually have like really big build arounds. Maybe you can throw this in your Golos deck, because that's the one I can think of where it's like, if you just want to play good stuff, that's where he goes.
Yeah, I like that. You're probably casting Black Lotus first, and then Brain Geyser, and then Disenchant, and you're really not casting the other ones.
Well, Regrowth is great.
That's okay.
It's better than Disenchant on average.
I guess so.
Yeah, but still, nonetheless, like these, what were the other ones? I can't remember. Okay.
Terror and Shivan Dragon, you're just not doing that.
Yeah, Terror, I guess if there's a big threat, yeah, sometimes it'll answer the threat. 4/5 of the time, it'll get rid of the threat. And then Shivan Dragon, I don't ever see making a Shivan Dragon. Yeah, that one I actually never see.
Yeah, you got to pay for it, right?
Yeah, you have to pay
so
for
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not paying for Shivan Dragon. Okay, but Garth, number 10 on this list because he's a 5-color commander and he doesn't really go into many decks. Next, though, is a card that does the opposite. It just fits in a ton of decks. It's Foundation Breaker.
This is 3 and a green for a 2/2 elemental. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. And it has Evoke for 1 and a green, which means you can play it for that alternate cost. And if you do, it just dies right away, which means it's a creature naturalize that has 2 different modes. I love this card. This is going to be a borderline staple. It's right up there with Rexage and Mass Vandal. I think it's about as good as either of those.
Caustic Caterpillar. It's in that little thing. The thing is, this card's very replaceable. That's why it's so low here. There's a million versions of this type of card. But, again, it's still very strong. It doesn't matter that you can get it in 14 other places at this point. It's still very good in itself.
Well, there's some decks
that want
where this will be the best version because there's no 2-mana creature that naturalizes always.
Yeah, Marin decks, I think, want this the most, especially because it's for CMC. So.
Oh yeah, it gives you that experience counter right away.
Yeah, it works really, really well on Marin decks. And if you just want, if you want the creature in the graveyard, then that's where the decks that want this the most.
Yeah, and we're just gonna tease this endlessly because the video's coming. Definitely going in our Commander Cube.
Yes, definitely is going in our Commander Cube. Next is number 8, and it's Dothi Voidwalker. Black for a creature, Dothi Rogue, 3/2, and it has Shadow. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a Void counter on it. Tap, sacrifice Dothi Voidwalker. Choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a Void counter on it. You may play it this turn without paying its mana cost. This guy's a hate bear, and he's a really cheap hate bear that can just come out and be annoying to any deck that wants to be using its graveyard.
Yeah, we talk about attacks not mattering a ton, so I don't think it really matters if he can't block, but he can attack always and basically never be blocked, which I think is pretty sweet. So if you're trying to do that or you need some kind of wacky combat damage trigger, yeah, it does that for you. But mainly, we can almost discount the creature size and the actual abilities, aside from now it's Kalidas, but instead of you get a zombie for 2 mana cheaper, now it's hey, later on, you're going to get the best thing for free.
The best thing, and not just the best creature. No. The best spell that was cast, the best anything. This can be very annoying very quickly. If one counterspell goes off, all of a sudden, there's a counterspell in the battlefield. And you just have to, it reminds me of like Glenelendra in that case, where it's like, I know there's a counterspell, and I have to always play around that counterspell.
Yeah, or you're trying to mill people, and you hit their Expropriate, or you hit their Rise of the Dark Realms or something. Or you just have this sitting out, and I would like, it's still good even without that last ability, because it just stops all mill, stops all graveyard recursion, stops all death triggers, everything.
Yes, it also, this card just is attacks. Like, if there's nothing in the graveyard, I know BC said it doesn't matter that much. It does it for 3 every single turn for free, and it's not as the super duper relevant, but it's not blockable. So it is like, I love the 1 extra power. If this was a 2/2, I wouldn't even care about it attacking. 3 is a little. It's. I mean,
how about the it doesn't. I think the power is completely irrelevant. This could be a 0/3, and I'd still be like, oh yeah, you could suit it up.
Yeah, I agree, but it does have the free. It does have the free ability to just chip down opponents when it needs to.
They pushed it a little just for you guys.
Yeah,
who like attacking.
Yeah, Pia, they pushed us for modern. This card is going to be pretty good at modern.
Coming up next, it's number 7, and it's Solitude. 3 white for a 3/2 elemental incarnation with flash and lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, use Swords to Plowshare as a creature, but it evokes for free. All you gotta do is exile a white card from your hand. So if you 2-for-1 yourself, you get a Swords and a brief window where this thing enters, and then you remove something. But if you flicker this, now we're talking.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just throw a white card away in your hand, then flicker it, and then you get 2 swords, and the creature sticks around on the battlefield. This thing has lifelink. It's nice that it has lifelink. So for your deck that might care about some life gain, you could definitely do something with that. You're just going to answer the best stuff for free, and sometimes you need to do it for free. Sometimes you're tapped out, and something's going to win the game, and you can just go, well, I can stop that here by 2-for-1 myself.
I don't think an instant speed 5-mana creature that soars is that bad. It's not great.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be talking about this as much if it was just that. But I think that's passable.
It is. It's a passable creature, and you're going to play it like that sometimes. You're going to just probably, I think it's going to be a solid like 50-50. You're going to play it as the creature, but when you need it, it's always there to go, okay, I can just throw this other white card away and play it as I need. Just make sure that you're not in mono white. It's going to be tougher because there's not as much card draw. Make sure you got some card draw because you have to go down to play cards like this.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Force of Will. It's not like you're never going to cast Force of Will for 5. Sometimes you just can, and it's like this year. Sometimes you just cast it. Yeah. It's not a downside to just pay 5 for it.
Yeah, this can be an annoying this could change combat a lot. If someone sends like 3 creatures at you, you go, flash this in, swords their best one, block one of their other ones. All of a sudden, you just like gained life out of that exchange instead of losing like 15.
Remove one from the equation, remove the other one, and gain life off of it, and then the last one's not going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you can just change combat a ton with this card. I really do like it. Main decks you want this in, BZ said it, Flicker, because you can just take advantage of it a ton.
Ephemerate. Let's go.
Number 6 is Sanctum Weaver. It's 1 of the green for an 0/2. It's an enchantment creature. Tap add X mana of any one color where X is the number of enchantments you control. Now this one sits at number 6 and not at number 1 because it only goes in a specific kind of deck. If this tap 4 equal to your lands, obviously it would be completely insane. It goes in any deck.
Yeah, that card's banned. It already does that. This is Esper Sentinel on a stick. I think it's pretty sweet. It's really close. It's going to be as good as Priest of Titania is in the enchantment. So like if Priest of Titania just was printed now, it'd probably be about number 6 because it only goes in one specific spot. But it's like one of the best cards in your whole deck in that spot.
Yeah, exactly. This makes a ridiculous amount of mana. It's just when it taps for 2 and 3, it's already good.
That's already like above average for any mana dork.
And sometimes it starts tapping for 5, 6, 7, even higher sometimes if you really get your deck going.
And it can't tap for less than 1. It's already, like the floor is, hey, 2 mana 0/2 helps develop your board.
Yes, I mean, it's an enchantment itself. That's what makes this card like extra good. The fact is you trigger all your enchantresses and all of a sudden you're drawing a card off of this and it's on the battlefield. You have another enchantment. It taps for at least 1 mana. But you're an enchantress, you have like 30, 40 enchantments in your deck. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. The card is just, it's hard to understate how good a Priest of Titania type effect is for decks like this.
Oh, I'm thinking of, now I'm picturing this with Enchanted Evening. Let's make everything an enchantment. Oh. No, it just taps for everything.
Well, that's just silly. I mean, Enchanted Evening is silly with cards like this. Just how many permanents do you control? 30. kept for 30 green.
Well, it's the same thing with Mycosynth Lattice. Everything gets real weird when everything is the same type.
Yeah.
Next is number 5. Talk about specific decks. This is Moderation. It's 1 white-blue for an enchantment. You can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Whenever you cast a spell, draw a card. Oh boy. So this is really niche, but the deck you want it in is any instant speed deck or any control deck that just wants to sit and respond to what's happening. You're going to run away with the game on cards.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually, after you've taken over the game with cards, you play like your Reliquary Tower out. You just sit down for a little bit, keep drawing cards as you're playing spells. All of a sudden, you realize, oh, I can kill my own thing, and now I have 15 cards in my hand. That's what this card really does, is it lets you like control the game with counter spells, removal spells, and just slow it down to a pace that you want, and then you get rid of it and you win with your combo, with your 6-card combo that's been sitting in your hands.
Yeah, if you're playing a lot of 2-for-1s, 1/2 will take out my own enchantment. Or you can just play cheap removal, like if you just have like you untap and you just fragmentize your own thing. Well, you draw a card, you spent 1 mana, and now your whole turn's unlocked. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. This card is just, you want to you have to make sure you build your deck to use it. That's all.
Yeah.
Because you want lots of instants, and you want ways to remove it. And as soon as you have those, I mean, every deck's gonna have ways to remove it. You are in a white deck, so you're gonna have ways to answer enchantments. So I guess it's just you want to make sure you're playing instant speed so that you can take advantage and draw. Basically, you want to draw 4 cards every go around. So your opt's gonna feel great. Ooh, opt, draw a card, scry, draw. Wow.
This is best friends with Aura of Silence. Like they're like best friends.
Yeah, you just tax everybody and then eventually blow up your own thing when it gets in your way like 4 turns down the road.
Yeah, and then you just win.
Yeah.
This looks like a really good card. I think it's gonna not go in too many decks, but that have already existed, but it will go in a ton that are about to exist.
Yes. It's weird control decks. Like I want to pair this up with what's the guy that when you're attacked you draw a card? Asphyria?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pair it up with that. Where it's like nobody wants to attack you because you'll draw a ton of cards, and now you're just gonna counter anything that matters. Oh god, it'd be.
And then and when you cast all your free counter spells or your Solitude, they just replace themselves.
Yep.
That's nuts. You can just tap out and still interact 3 times.
Yeah, this card feels great in a deck like that. But moving on, we now have number 4, and it's Esper Sentinel. 1 white mana for a 1/1. It's an artifact creature, human soldier. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. This card's really cool. Definitely gets my vote for one of the coolest cards in the set. Beezy actually said that right before I read it, and it really is just a super cool card. It's nice to get some white card draw. It shows that this proves that Ristic Study should have always been white.
This proves conclusively that card is now banned in all formats. This is a really cool design. I love that it incentivizes you to like put counters or equipment on it and then just let it sit there. I like that you can put like a sword of on this, and now it has protection from removal. And what are they going to do? Play 6 for a Cultivate? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. But they might. You never know.
I'm cool with either half of that.
Yeah.
So if you want to waste your whole turn or let me draw a couple extra cards, I think this is like fits in that fine line where it's not a must kill and it's not a must pay either. So I think you're going to get some cards off of this. And I also think it's not going to die very often because it's not mana efficient for almost any removal spell to kill this thing. And it just doesn't do too much.
I just think the main thing is I want to augment its power.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not able to augment its power in your deck, I'm not going to play this too often.
No.
So just make sure you have a sword too. If you're playing your Soulforge Mystic type decks, I can tutor up some equipment, stuff like that. Because ultimately, I'm paying 1 every time for my first non-creature spell if I can. 2, 3, okay, we're getting into territory where it's like I might not be able to pay that. I might not want to pay that.
Yeah, I'm looking to tutor for this with Ranger Captain of Eos and Ranger of Eos, and I want to get some 4/4 zombies off it with Oketra.
Yep.
I don't even care what happens after that, because when you do something like that just makes this thing replace itself, I don't care if you if I draw a card or not. I already got my card out of it. I tutored for this extra, or I got a 4/4 or whatever else. So I'm just taxing you now.
It's a really cheap tax effect. It's 1 mana. This thing is, don't forget everything we just said. It's also 1 mana on top of all of that.
The investment is nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So just be able to use this creature in other ways, augment its power, things like that, and you're gonna love this card in your deck.
Oh yeah. Number 3, we're getting close to the top now, is Damn. Black, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated, and has overload for 2 white. So this is a black-white identity, and it's either bad kill spell or literally just Wrath of God.
Yeah, bad kill spell, okay, wipe. Again, we talk about this all the time with cards that are they're doing so many cards that do multiple things. You staple 2 things together. Bad, okay, amazing. Into just a great card.
I already almost never play Damnation or Wrath of God, but if you're in black-white, now you're just, well, not you. I'm just never even touching them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Damn is just, it's so nice. The versatility on spells like this is awesome. There's only 1 threat I need to kill. Okay, I'll kill just the 1 threat. The whole board's a problem. I'll kill the whole board.
Bye-bye. Either way.
I mean, the problem with the tough part about talking about this card is it is a bad removal spell. We mentioned that. And it's Wrath of God on the other side. We know Wrath of God's really good.
That's fine.
Board wipes, I mean, so what I'm talking about is like more in a vacuum type.
Board wipes are good.
Board wipes are very good. They always are good. But we've taken a board wipe and we gave it another mode. I don't care what the other mode is. It's almost always going to be amazing.
Yeah, there's no board wipe that does this. There's no board wipe, not too many that I can think of at least, that are a board wipe or something completely different.
Yes, a board wipe or just spot removal. Kill 1 creature. It's so nice.
Yeah, I want to explore this territory some more. Like, what if it's like board wipe or draw 2 cards or something? I don't know.
I mean, we have board wipe. It was the best card from the last set, Strixhaven. Board wipe or save your team.
Actually, I'm literally describing Find Finality. It's literally a board wipe or draw 2 cards.
Yeah, well,
weird.
It sort of is, yeah.
I love that design.
Yeah. So what's next?
Next is number 2. It's the weirdest card I've ever seen, and it's not even an exaggeration. It's URSA's Saga. What does it do?
So it has no mana cost. Well, that's because it's an enchantment land, and it's an URSA's, obviously as a type, and a Saga. Chapter 2, URSA Saga gains 2 tap, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Chapter 3, search your library for an artifact card with mana cost 0 or 1. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. This card, like BZ said, is weird, but it's really, really good. You play it, it's just a land for the next 2 turns. Or it's this land that can produce 2 constructs. Okay, first thing, that's something really powerful for a land to do. Then you sacrifice it and you go get, you always get Soul Ring. Yeah. Almost every single time.
Yes, one mistake I made when initially reading this, first of all, I made 8 mistakes reading this because this is the most unnecessary card I've ever seen in my life. But the mistake I made was, you can go get artifact lands. Well, no, because they don't have mana cost of 0.
Yes.
Right?
You can't get artifact lands. It has to be, you can get your you can get Skull Clamp.
Yep.
You can get your Skull Clamps, you can get your Soul Rings, you can get your Mana Crypt if your Soul Ring's already out.
Jewel Lotus.
You can just get a ton of things with this. It doesn't hurt to, basically, would you sacrifice a land to go get a Soul Ring? Yeah, a lot of the times I would.
Well, at any point, this is going off. Yeah, I mean, the earliest you played is turn 1, so then you get a Soul Ring on turn 3.
This card is very good. It
feels like a free roll.
It feels like a free roll in a lot of decks as long as you can afford the utility slot. Just make sure when you put in your deck that the slot's there. I'm also gonna. This makes me want to build my deck a little different. It's gonna make me put a couple extra utility things maybe in. If I'm playing the URSA Saga on my deck, I'm probably gonna go ahead and throw in
Mishra's Bauble, Urza's Bauble.
I was thinking Mishra's Bauble, Urza's Bauble. I was thinking Soul Guide Lantern. Things like that where it's like I just want utility.
That's like a toolbox now.
Yeah.
We're like skull clamping, soul ringing, or soul guide lantering.
Yeah, this card is super good. It's because it's not a card. It's a card that makes 2 constructs and then does something else. What is that? Or it's just a normal land for 2 turns.
Yeah, but what do you cut for it? Oh, it's a land.
Oh, yeah, it's a land. So you cut waste. Yeah, this card
cut a waste.
This card is really silly because you don't. In the end, like the downside of sacrificing a saga is you lose something. No. You don't. You just don't.
And it just gave you something, and it could give you 2 constructs and then turn into a soul ring.
Yeah, that's the lake game effect you're going to get out of it. You're going to get 2 constructs and a soul ring. Early game, you're just going to have a normal land that turns into a soul ring.
Oh, this is like goes in my Brutaclad all day, right? Just all day.
I mean, it goes any deck that cares about artifacts, it's 100% in there. This goes in infinite decks. I think if you're in 2 or less colors,
you might just want to consider it. I don't know. How much is this going for? What's the price of this card?
I'm not sure. Let's take a look. So without any cuts, because we're perfect here as Nitpicking Nerds.
We just knew.
Yeah, $20. It's going for about $20 in TCG Player. You can get it there. This card is just, it's a house. I mean, get it. If you have any deck that wants it, get it now, because I can't imagine this card staying cheap.
Well, by now, I think we mean when the set's like 2 weeks in. That's when the cards are always at their
Yeah,
low.
that's what don't actually get it now, because they'll probably drop to 10. This card could get banned in Modern. I don't know. I don't know the extent of how good this card can be. I just know it's very good.
It's good in Commander, and it's not going to get banned. So I wouldn't worry about that.
Yes, for Commander.
So definitely pick them up for Commander. This, I'm a little bummed. I thought the first enchantment land, because I knew it was going to come eventually, this just doesn't care about enchantments at all. It just happens to be an enchantment.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Boo.
Boo for Beezy. And number 1, the best card from the whole set, it's Phantasmal Dreadmaw. It is 2 blue for a 6/6. It has trample, but if it becomes the target of a spell or ability, you have to sacrifice it.
Yeah, this really beats in super hard. Like this passes the vanilla test with flying colors.
Okay, but this card is amazing, and I love this card. But unfortunately, it didn't make number 1. It actually didn't make the list. Like it was unfortunate.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get anybody. Who do you think we got?
If we got you, tell us in the comments. Be honest.
This is what they think is number 1.
What?
Real number 1, not even close. I've for Monday's video, after this, we're grading every staple.
Every rare.
Spoiler alert, this got the highest grade, not close. It's Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. It's a land, and all your lands are forests. This is exactly Urborg, but for forest instead of swamp.
So it's all lands everywhere.
All lands everywhere,
Our
yes.
forest. Yeah, this is just going to be nuts. Like I think a couple cards ahead, or like the first couple cards that come to mind is like Arbor Elf can now untap Nykthos and Gaia's Cradle, like we were talking about in one of the previous videos we did. I think it was Green Staples.
I mean, there's just a million things. Any land that has any effect that you can untap and start doing crazy stuff with. There's just
any card that checks forests.
Any card that checks forest. There's tons of cards that care about forest. I don't know all the cards that check forest off the top of my head, but there's a lot of cards that do care specifically about that land type, and this is just gonna like boost all those in power. It's just like if Urborg didn't exist in black, there's a lot of black cards that like say swamp that would be super medium, but they get this huge boost because there's this free roll land. Well, same thing for green now.
Yeah, the real thing is those are all just asides of why this is actually number 1 is just, hey, you are now completely fixed on green for the rest of the game as a free roll, and your investment was nothing, and you cut a forest for a land that's always a forest anyway. This effect is so free. This is one of the best lands in the format now.
Yes, exactly. This card is absolutely amazing. There's not too much to say about it because, like you said, it just fixes you perfectly for green for the rest of the game. It's the freest roll. You cut a forest for this card most of the time, and you go, oh, well, that was pretty
amazing.
Cool.
You can play Yavimaya and Urborg in the same deck, and now you fetch for a plains, and it's just all 3 of your colors. You got plains.
Yeah, what is that? That's completely silly.
Every land is now a dual land. Congratulations, you spent nothing.
Every land is a tri-land.
Right, and now, and it just there's just upside and upside and upside. All your forest walk creatures are now unblockable.
Yep, there's so much. If you haven't played Urborg, you don't know, but you should play Urborg in all your black decks, and now you should play Yavimaya in all your green decks.
Yeah, it's called IYKYK. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yeah,
I hate that so much. It's so stupid. Such a clickbaity like TikTok thing.
If you know, you know. But that's our video. Special shout outs to all of our patrons. We love you all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable. You guys are awesome. You help support the channel, and you're making our dreams come true. You're letting us do this full time. Thank you.
Speaking of which, if you don't want to support us on the Patreon, or you can't, you can go to the TCG Player link, which takes you to TCG Player. Now buy cards like you were going to, except when you buy cards, normally, you get to spend no extra money, but also support us.
Yes. So that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. You should definitely do that.
You know, if I were a fan of the channel, I would do it.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want to hang out, there's a Discord. Head over to the Discord. You come in. We're in there hanging out and chat sometimes. And regardless, it's like-minded individuals who like Magic the Gathering. Chill, play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I mean, you probably, if you've seen our other videos, you know us. We talk in the comments. We're going to talk in our Discord just the same.
Mm-hmm. So, tidbit about our life. I think it actually is my turn this time.
Yes.
We saw A Quiet Place 2 yesterday.
Oh, that was so easy. So easy.
Sorry.
It was pretty good. I don't think it was like fantastic. You think the first one was better?
Definitely.
I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it was fine.
It was fine.
This is a good movie. It wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't going to be as bad as like Fast and Furious.
I felt pretty bored most of the movie.
I don't know.
The pacing was it was like just a crawl.
I think one of the problems is once you show the creature in your horror movie, you like lose a bit of oomph. And there's the whole. It wasn't like they introduced it early. The whole movie, we already know. We already know what everything is, and we know how to beat them when this movie starts.
Yeah, it's kind of. Whatever.
Maybe they should have just like taken this movie and like cut it in half, and then just made the first movie really long, and then we wouldn't need any sequels. And if they're trying to do a third one, that's gonna be rough.
It just feels like this movie just doesn't. It didn't feel necessary. It's a fine movie. It's okay, but the first one was much better.
Yeah, it's pretty tense. At least I don't know if it's too scary, but it's tense.
I mean thrillers are. I like being tense more than I like being scared. So
yeah, whenever I get hit with a jump scare, it's just stupid.
Yeah, stupid birds in the train.
There's birds in a train. Spoiler. That's it.
Spoiler alert. They're gonna scare you. Peace out, Trap Scout.